Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you're all doing well. As you know, many states have laws against geoengineering, literally laws against it, but as you know, it's still ongoing. Yeah, this is over in Spain. You could see this is a global issue. Global. It's beyond any one single local government, whether that's US, Spain, or anywhere. This is a global program. And here you go. Say hello to EarthGuard, the new solar geoengineering startup of ex-NASA veterans. They want to put a huge constellation of sun umbrellas or solar deflectors placed at 932,000 miles from Earth. All this to reduce sunlight by half of 1%. As we know, climate change and global warming, you can't make this up. We just had record snowfall in Providence, Rhode Island. 37.9 inches of snow in Rhode Island. This is not typical. This is just insane what we're seeing coming together all around the world. And, in the United States, for instance, you had massive snowfalls all over the whole east, northeast. It was just wild what we were watching. And this was that heavy snow. This is a map that shows. You can see the little real dark kind of blackish brown in there. That's 36 inches plus. Holy cow. I mean, 18 to 24 in this orangish red color. This is not typical. It is not typical. The blizzard of 2026. This is not normal. But what we're watching too, and boy, I got so burned when I'd have to be going to work in the morning, and then all of a sudden the plow would come by and just bury you. And if you were, you're late for work, and oh gosh, then they come by and they bury you even deeper. Does any of this make sense to you? Think about what we've witnessed all over the world lately. When you look to Russia, the amount of snow that we've seen just defies anybody's reasonable logic. I mean, yeah, sure, Siberia, Kamchatka. This is an area that gets big snowfalls. But what we saw was record-breaking over there, too, literally reaching to the top of 5-6-story buildings. I mean, this was crazy. This was not normal. And what's really going on here? What's really the agenda? Don't forget, Kamchatka had that 8.8 megaquake as well. And also don't forget that it's also the location of Russia's Pacific nuclear sub-fleet. This was a huge 8.8 earthquake. Now, we might be seeing something like that in the near future, again, with everything that's been going on. It's just been incredible. This is Japan, by the way, too. Japan also setting records for snow. I mean, look at this. This is real. It's just crazy. And even rain and snow on the Giza pyramids. It's just been bizarre what we are seeing in this time period. And of course, this led to over 1 million people without power. This is Dr. Jane Ruby, and she's not too happy with the government, and a lot of people are not. In fact, if you are happy with the government, I really think you need to have your head examined at this point. Yeah, absolutely. And this is showing again that there's technology in play. It's so obvious, the technology in play. Everything from just laying those fake clouds that we see on a daily basis to also the transmitters. We understand there was a mad rush to put up all these FIVEG towers. They just came in and got into place right before the plague upon the land. Yes, absolutely. And you have people that were on the inside. Kristen Megan worked for U.S. Army as an environmental specialist, and she saw it firsthand. Even though they're debunking, they try to debunk, they still give little labels. but it's been declassified to a degree, and we know it's real. I mean, you have whistleblowers that, basically verify everything we've been witnessing with our own eyes. Why is it that every tropical cyclone seems to become abnormal? And Category 5, Category 5 was such a rarity. This is Horatio, strongest storm of 2026 east of Mauritius. Sustained winds of like 175, 185 miles an hour. Every storm seems to be on steroids. This is Peru, and you have flooding over there. 17 fatalities confirmed. Helicopter crashed, again, trying to help and save people. Everywhere you look, this is ongoing, and you do have some that get out and enjoy it. The Amish seem to figure out how to have fun during these snowstorms. The Amish also didn't do something that about 6 billion people did, or 5 point something billion people did. The Amish didn't. And the Amish, again, they don't seem to have a lot of challenges that the normal civilians, in the U.S., normal citizens run into health-wise. And, you could probably guess why. Again, this is EMP proof. This is EMP proof. This is, sunproof too, when we get into the bigger eruptions from the sun. Humanity is getting very, very tired of this. In the Bible, this is all blamed on God, quote unquote. It's just because God is upset with us. Yet at the same time, we know God doesn't work for the deep state military. No. If you look at this again, we could have laws in states that are outlawing geoengineering, but it still happens. That's because there's a government behind the government, and it doesn't really pay any attention to what our quote-unquote elected governments decide.
They didn't get the cure because there was nothing to cure, and they know that they don't need to do that. The Amish, they just stick with Earth. They trust her. They know what she's doing, and their rates are, they're very healthy people, and it's just so sad that this was done to so many, and under pressure too. Under pressure. I know what's so sad is I know grandparents who are not allowed to see their grandbabies until they do a thing. And that just breaks my heart into pieces. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, but here we are, and I think all we do is we continue to stick together and help each other out. And, if you were in that position, there's ways to detox, to help your body, and use intention to help heal everything.
And I'm not a scientist, but I have read enough and looked into enough to this, and also what I get just feeling into it is we would be in a lot more trouble if the Earth cooled off a degree than if it raised up a degree, because it's going to be more impactful to the food supply, and every time we turn around, the food supply is getting hit. And obviously we are spending so much more money on food in proportion to what we did in years past. So when you see this and you see that they're literally determined again to block the sun off, as we've said, we are being ruled by vampires. They're very, very predatory. They're vampires in more than one way, too. Again, obviously, they have an aversion to the sun, and they don't like the warmth. Again, global cooling is much more threatening than global warming. This is, just the reality. The other thing is that the weather is always changing, and climate always changes. Energy always changes. It's just the very nature of energy to ebb and flow and to have change. So, again, it's just a matter of keeping to our guns, working together like the Amish. The Amish also are in their own society trying to be as outside of our society and yet integrated as much as they need for, just being able to get around and function. But this is, again, what the Essenes were like when we go back to, the real historical Yeshua Jesus. And I know not everybody believes there was a real historical personage. I do not believe the official narrative, but at the same time, I do know there were these people that were called the Essenes that lived outside on the fringe of society, but they knew that society was being run again by very, very dark entities. So they didn't want to be corrupted. They stayed outside as much as they could of the power structure and interacted where they had to, just like today's Amish in so many ways. As always, guys, we look forward to your comments. We thank you for your support. You're welcome to join us on Patreon and memberships, exclusives that go up there each week. We're going to be doing a meditation to help to connect to the higher self and open up the crown chakra. And, you know, I've had people in the past say things like, oh, I don't know if I want my chakras open. Oh, I'm scared of that. Do you realize if your chakras are shut off, that is a major issue? Because, again, you are a multidimensional being. And if you are cut off from the higher version of yourself, then absolutely, you are much more prey to the dark entities. And this is part of the awakening process, realizing the power of light, the power of sound. There is simplicity in healing. And again, we really appreciate you guys.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.